Okay, Shalom, giving all praises and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shah, Bahashem Rakar Kwadash. As always, we want to give double honors to the elders, apostles, and bishops of Great Millstone. Shalom to the hopeful elect, and blessings to the hopeful elect, hopeful elect, in the name of Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shah. So my name is Lamadia, and the name of this video is going to be entitled Global Protests and Could Mexico, Cuba, and Colombia Be Next? Um, this is following after the U.S. invasion of Venezuela, spearheaded by Nero 47, President Donald Trump, and the capturing of the President Maduro. So that's why the title reads Mexico, Cuba, and Colombia could be next. So we in heavy times, and the year, well, we only on the fourth day in the beginning of the year, and it's already starting off with a lot of excitement, and it's only going to get to World War III. And World War III, or the destruction of America, can't happen until the MOTB comes first. But this is all prophecy, and we getting closer to the end. So this is the time to, tighten up and, look, meditate on the fear of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shah, because we here, man, we here. So the first thing I want to do is I want to pull up, the clip with the global protests that's happening here. Well, not just here, I mean globally, I meant to say. It's happening globally. And the Lord spake about uproars of the people. And we're going to read that in a little bit. But this is all sounds of the excuse me. This is all sounds of the end. Same thing with this truth being becoming global as well, of us being Israelites. So let me play this video.
Venezuela soberana. Vamos a continuar, compañera Carolina. Hoy más que nunca, váyanse al carajo, yanquis de mierda. ¡Viva Chávez!
Si los dirigentes no están a esa altura, entonces tienen que ser reemplazados. Adelante, compañeros. Unidad, unidad.
¡Mi Venezuela!
No. Venezuela se वापस जाओ. वापस जाओ, वापस जाओ. सलाम जिंदाबाद. जिंदाबाद, जिंदाबाद. सलाम जवान मुर्दाबाद. मुर्दाबाद, मुर्दाबाद. वेनेजुएला लड़ाई चलो. लड़ाई चलो, लड़ाई चलो. वेनेजुएला लड़ाई चलो. लड़ाई चलो, लड़ाई चलो. वेनेजुएला लड़ाई चलो.
Avec le peuple vénézuélien.
Lift the sanctions, free the people! Lift the sanctions, free the people!
Lift the sanctions, free the people.
Lift the sanctions, free the people!
Lift the sanctions, free the people.
Lift the sanctions, free the people! ¡Otra asesina!
Europa patrocina.
¡Otra asesina!
Europa.
¡Yanquis de mierda! ¡Váyanse al carajo! ¡Yanquis de mierda! ¡Váyanse al carajo! ¡Yanquis de América Latina! ¡Fuera! ¡De lo que cueste! ¡De norte a sur! Una especie de predestinación.
So there we have it. So the first thing I want to do is read Second Ezra 9 and beginning at verse 1. He answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself. And at what time we measuring? Prophecy, events. What events? Events that is prophesied in the scriptures. What's comprised of the events? The MOTB. MOTB is an acronym for the mark of the beast, which is found in the book of Revelation, the 13th chapter. Was also comprised of the times, the nuclear destructions, uproars of the people, martial law, Jacob's trouble. So the scripture said, measure thou the time diligently. Now, how do we measure in the time? We measuring it through the scriptures. All right. The scripture is a metric system. Because you have, like you hear the elder apostle Paul mention it all the time. There's a prophecy timeline. The example of that is the nuclear destruction can happen before the MOTB, which is the mark of the beast. The mark of the beast, the prophecy of the mark of the beast, of the MOTB, has to take place first, and then the nuclear destruction. And before the nuclear destruction, there will be a ground war taking place in the Levant. what's the Levant? Levant is defined as the region eastward of the Mediterranean. So that's where the war of Armageddon is going to take place. And to be more precise, it's going to happen in Saudi Arabia. That's the land barren and desolate, we read in Joel. So measure thou the time diligently, meaning you got to keep up with current events in itself. And when thou seest part of the signs past, which I have told thee before, then shalt thou understand. That is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. And what's the Lord going to visit the world for? What? To bring judgment. We in the time of judgment, or great judgment. The Lord is going to judge the world. And most of all, he's going to judge America. The Lord judged the world before with water. This time he's going to judge it with fire. And it's going to be with nuclear fire. But first, it has to be a ground war. And that ground war is going to escalate into a nuclear war. And when the missiles get launched, Yahweh Shah is going to return simultaneously and deliver the elect out of America. So, verse 3, therefore, when there should be seen earthquakes, we've been seeing a lot of earthquakes back to back, and uproars of the people in the world. And that's what we just witnessed. Uproars of the people in the world. What's the uproar? A protest, an uprising. Verse 4, then should thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. So we've been warning. We've been saying these things are going to happen, beginning with the elder apostles, bishops on down. We've been given warning, and these events been prophet. Well, these events been predestined before we was even born, before our parents was even born, our grandparents, before the end was already established from the beginning. So then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. excuse me. For like as all that is made in the world have a beginning and an end, and the end is manifest. Even so, the times also of the highest have plain beginnings, and wonder and powerful works, and endings and effects and signs. So we seeing the signs right now, and this should be the time you should be shaking in your boots, hoping that you'll be found worthy to escape the judgments that's coming, because the judgment is coming very soon, and we looking to be found worthy when Yahweh shall return and when the Lord bring judgment on this earth. Verse 7, and everyone that should be saved and should be able to escape by his works and by faith whereby ye have believed. So what's gonna deliver us? It speaks about works, because it's our actions that shows our faith to Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. Because saying you have faith is not good enough. It have to be uniform with actions. Um, all right, so let's go to Matthew 24, and I'm gonna start at 3. And as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the he is referencing to Yahweh Shah, who the world ignorantly labeled as Jesus Christ. His true name is Yahweh Shah, because the Lord spoke Hebrew. And it says, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, tell us, when should these things be? And what should be the sign of thy coming and of the end of the world? And Yahushua answered and said unto them, take heed that no man deceive you, for many shall come in my name, saying, I am anointed, and shall deceive many. That's the false prophets, and even men saying that they the Messiah. Um, and ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars, and that's what's happening right now. We hearing rumors of wars, because Venezuela is allies with China and Iran, and I believe Cuba also, along with Cuba, if I'm not mistaken. I got to double check that, but you know, but that all leading to rumors of wars. Because what happened if Iran and Russia get involved in China? That's the talks. That's the talks on the streets of YouTube. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. For nation shall rise against nation. Right, it says the end is not yet. Because right now we seeing what you would call um the labor pains. Contractions, that's the word I was thinking about Shalakia. I had a brain, my brain got foggy. So right now we seeing contractions. And a lot of times, a woman would have these strong contractions, and it could be a false alarm, because it could, you might rush her to the hospital thinking it's the time, but it's just contractions until that one day you rush her to the hospital, then that's the day of delivery. And that's what we're looking for, the day of delivery. So verse 7, for nation shall rise up against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilence and earthquakes in diverse places. All these are the beginnings of sorrows. So we in a time of sorrows. All right. There's a lot of videos going flowing around being shared that, you know, the US true motive of entering Venezuela, rather than what they trying to project to the media, that they in there to stop the um, drugs flowing into the America. Now they really in there for the reserves they have there, the gold reserves, the oil reserves, you know, precious metal, whatever resources that is in the land. That's what they really want. But they not straight out just saying it. You know, they manipulating the people and trying to rationalize why they are in these lands, why the U.S. is in Venezuela, because the U.S. use the same playbook for everything, and the people are are waking up to the bullshit. So what I want to do now, let's go to a couple more clips, and this clip here is from the Associated Press entitled "Marco Rubio hints Cuba could be next after U.S. captured Maduro in Venezuela." So I'm gonna play a little bit of it.
Yes, sir. Please go ahead.
The message for Cuba and U.S. Canal.
Well, Cuba is an interesting case. Cuba is, not doing very well right now. That system has not been a very good one for Cuba. The people there have suffered for many, many years, and I think Cuba is going to be something we'll end up talking about because Cuba is a failing nation right now, very badly failing nation, and we want to help the people. It's very similar in the sense that we want to help the people in Cuba, but we want to also help the people that were forced out of Cuba and living in this country. Do you want to say something about that, Marco, please?
Well, I mean, I just gave you a statement a few minutes ago about.
Yeah, he say he want to help the people, and that's always they playbook. They go into these land through the pretext of saying they going in to help. Matter of fact, let me see. Let me pull up a scripture before I continue this. Let's go to Daniel 8. And 25. And it says, and through his policies also he shall cause craft to prosper. And his craft is his agenda, and he puts these agendas through policies. So it says, and through his policy also he shall cause craft to prosper in his hand, and he shall magnify himself in his heart, and by peace shall destroy many. There you go. And said, and by peace shall destroy many. And he shall also stand up against the princes of princes, but he shall be broken without hands. Um, but this really referencing to Antiochus Epiphanes, but it's still fitting to the Edomites today, because what was Antiochus? He was an Edomite. What is Donald Trump? An Edomite. So let's go back. I just wanted to play that. I just wanted to read that. Salakia, man.
When the president speaks, you should take him seriously.
About that, Marco, please. In this country, do you want to say something? The people that were forced out of Cuba, but we want to also help the people that were forced out of Cuba and living in this country. Do you want to say something about that, Marco, please?
Well, I mean, I just gave you a statement a few minutes ago about, when the president speaks, you should take him seriously. So suffice it to say, Cuba is a disaster. It's run by incompetent, senile men, and in some cases, not senile, but incompetent nonetheless. It has no economy. It's in total collapse. And by the way, they were, all of the guards that helped protect Maduro, this is well known, their whole spy agency, all that were full of Cubans. I mean, it's amazing. This poor island took over Venezuela in some cases. One of the biggest problems that Venezuelans have is they have to declare independence from Cuba, that tried to basically colonize it from a security standpoint. So, yeah, look, if I lived in Havana and I was in the government, I'd be concerned. at least a little bit.
So that's what was said about Cuba. So now let's move on to the next video clip. So this is from Fox News, entitled "Trump Takes Aim at Mexico." I can't pronounce that. Sheinbaum at the Venezuelan strike. Quote: "Cartels are running Mexico." So I'm gonna play it.
I wonder, Mr. President, I want to ask you because from your Vice President, J.D. Vance, said that the message is pretty clear. The drug trafficking must stop. So was this operation a message that you're sending to Mexico, to Claudia Sheinbaum, the president there?
Well, it wasn't meant to be, and we're very friendly with her. She's a good woman, but the cartels are running Mexico. She's not running Mexico. The cartels are running Mexico. And we could be politically correct and be nice and say, oh, yes, she is. No, she's very, she's very frightened of the cartels. They're running Mexico. And I've asked her numerous times, would you like us to take out the cartels? No, Mr. President. No, please. So we have to do something because we lost. The real number is 300,000 people, in my opinion. They like to say 100,000. 100,000 is a lot of people, but the real number is 300,000 people, and we lost it to drugs, and they come in through the southern border, mostly the southern border. Plenty come in through Canada, too, by the way, in case you don't know. Yeah. But they come in through the southern border, and something's going to have to be done with Mexico.
Why did you decide to do this morning?
So there you have it. The video is actually 5 minutes and 51 seconds. We played a minute and change of it. You can watch the rest yourself. Now let's move on to the next video clip. U.S. issue warning to more Latin American nations. So I'm gonna let this play.
After the U.S. captured Venezuelan President Maduro, it has sent warnings to several other nations as well. 3 Latin American nations, in particular, have been called out: Mexico, Colombia, Cuba. During U.S. President Trump's press conference on Saturday, 2 of these nations were explicitly mentioned. Now, take a look at what Trump had to say about Colombian President Gustavo Petro.
Well, he has cocaine mills. He has factories where he makes cocaine. And yeah, I think I stick by my first statement. He's making cocaine. They're sending it into the United States. So he does have to watch it.
Trump told Petro to watch out and used similar rhetoric on drug trafficking that the U.S. used to justify the capture of Maduro. Next in the crosshairs was Cuba.
So there you go. Let's go to Habakkuk chapter 2 and 4. Behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him. Whose soul was lifted up? Esau. Esau is who? The so-called white race, beginning with the elites of Esau down to the peons. And it says, but the just shall live by his faith. Now, who's the just? The just is Israel, beginning with the elect, and by the faith of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua. Because the only one that's gonna get this is only the elect. This is not a all Israel thing. We're not trying to wake up the Pookie, Ray Ray, and Shaquina. This is only for the elect. That's it. Verse 5. Yet also because he transgressive by wine, he is a proud man, neither keep it at home. And what's his wine? His new way of living, his philosophies. He's saying that Venezuela, Mexico, Cuba, including Colombia, is not being managed correctly. So he needs to go in there and do a regime change. And usually, well, what usually happens when they do a regime change is they put in they puppet leaders in it, all right, and they control the country behind the scenes. So it says he's a proud man, need to keep it at home. Like U.S. Army have no business in Venezuela or any other nation. And it says who enlargeth his desire as hell. Hell is talking about the grave. You know, like every one business that never close is the hospital, because people are in the hospital in and out from morning, noon, and night. People are dying in the hospitals every day. That's a lucrative business. So it says, who enlarges his desire as hell and as depth and cannot be satisfied. So he can never have enough. Because what what Trump or Nero 47 want to do is expand global domination. He want to expand the power of the US. And that's not going to happen, buddy. So it says, and is as deft and cannot be satisfied, but gathered unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people. Should not should not all these take up a parable against him, and a taunting proverb against him, and say, woe to him that increaseth that which is not his? Because everything that Esau had received is about ill-gotten gain. And it's like the elder Apostle Hall had mentioned, it's really the small hats behind the scene that's calling the shots, because this all going to their pockets. And it says, woe to him that increaseth that which is not his. How long? And to him that ladeth himself with thick clay. And the word there for thick clay is the Hebrew word abatia, which is going to depth, meaning and heavy depth. Because when you constantly expand, you have to take out the you got to take it out of the treasury. You got to pay the military. You got to purchase more weapons, and that's how ancient Rome fell, because Rome was spread thin. They expanded themselves a little too far, where they couldn't they end up overwhelming themselves, where they couldn't manage it. So they end up being constantly under attack. Verse 7. Shall they not rise up suddenly that shall bite thee, and the weight that shall vex thee, and thou shalt be for booties unto them? And that's what's going to happen. You know, America's going to be a spoil when the Lord put the spirit on the other nations to shoot long range missiles to America, and America's going to be completely destroyed. Now let's go to Micah 2:1. Woe unto them that deviseth iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it, because it's in the power of their hand. So, you know, they just don't do these things. They conspire first, and they conspire for years. How they going to get into this nation? How they going to get into this country and take their resources and control everything? And it says, verse 2, and they covet fields and take them by violence. There you go, violence. And houses, they take them away. So they oppress a man in his house, even a man in his heritage. So that's the U.S. The U.S. goes into these different lands and want to tell the people how to run their country, and say who they feel need to be president or prime minister. And that's all going to backfire on the U.S. and lead to America's demise. So, you know, And I'm gonna close with that. And Lord willing, this video was edifying. And I'm gonna say Kohalayim Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shah, Bahashem Rakar Kodash. Lord willing, again, this video is edifying. The next time, Shalom.